Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd. Welcome back to the Worms Armageddon political simulation machine. That's right, we are back because, as you may have heard, the British political system collapsed this last week. Again, in fact, it's not even the first time this has happened this year, it's starting to get embarrassing, to be honest, and it's got everyone a bit nervous, okay? We don't know what's about to happen next, we don't know who the next Prime Minister is, or, to be precise, we don't know yet. Because at the end of this video, you're going to know. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here, okay? It's been a while since we've done one of these. Some of you may have no idea what's going on right now. So, okay, let's just get down to the basics here. In the game Worms Armageddon, an absolute classic from 1999, you can create your own teams with your own personalised team members. These teams can also be assigned to be AI players and then made to fight each other. Meaning, if you were to create a team where all the team members were named after politicians, you could make them fight each other and use that as a basis for predicting what was about to happen politically. And I know what you're thinking, John, that's ridiculous. There's no particular reason a game from 1999 is going to be able to predict the political future. And that's where you'd be wrong, because every time I've put a question to Worms Armageddon, it has been completely 100% accurate. As long as we exclude the instances where it wasn't, which we should because those were anomalous results, that's just how data science works. Anyway, let's meet the team, shall we? You see, the problem we've got in the UK right now is our former Prime Minister, Liz Truss, was cocking useless. So cocking useless, in fact, she's just chosen to resign, being the shortest reigning Prime Minister in all of British history, meaning the ruling party, the Conservatives, now kind of have to flail around and find a new Prime Minister, and we don't know who it's going to be, so let's bloody find out. Team number 1, Boris Johnson. Now, admittedly, it was only about 2 months back, the exact same people who are now considering making him Prime Minister ousted him and told him he couldn't be Prime Minister anymore. But then, of course, in the last 2 months, we have had Liz Truss in charge, so it's possible some of them might have, yes, re-evaluated how much they do or don't want Boris Johnson to be Prime Minister again. Team number 2, Rishi Sunak, the former Chancellor and, going into the last leadership election, which Liz Truss won, was the favourite to become the Prime Minister, but lost out in the final vote to Liz Truss, though, interestingly, that was only the vote to the Conservative Party members. Rishi Sunak was always more popular with the Parliamentary Party. He certainly still has enough allies to potentially be the next Prime Minister. Option number 3, Penny Mordaunt, a relative outsider, but she did very well in the leadership election that gave us Liz Truss, so once again, she has got a shot. Her current job, by the way, and I swear I'm not making this up, is Lord President of the Privy Council. Candidate number 4, Suella Braverman, though, okay, gonna be honest with you here, I have heard this name being pronounced as Braverman and Braverman during interviews with Suella Braverman herself, and in neither case did she correct the interviewer. So I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is, I'm just going to go with whatever I'm feeling at the moment, and I'm very sorry if I get it wrong. This of course is the former Home Secretary, one of those senior positions in the UK government, whose resignation may in fact have been a pretty critical turning point in Liz Truss not being able to continue as Prime Minister, and in fact may have been a rather tactical resignation in preparation for her own leadership run. And then of course, the final candidate. The dark horse, the one we're all worried about. The candidate who defeated, nay, humiliated Liz Truss. I am talking, of course, about the lettuce, which I think ought to be included in this simulation because if you defeat the last Prime Minister, then you have the right to fight the other candidates to be the next one. Still, a couple of extra rules before we dive in. Because of course, yes, this is a fight between individual candidates, my original plan was just to have one worm representing each candidate. But that led to too much risk of a random stray shot just knocking a worm into the sea, and that didn't seem fair. So every candidate is going to be represented by 3 different worms to minimise the risk of a random happenstance and in general give us cleaner data. With one crucial exception. The great Truss assassin itself, the lettuce, is far too powerful to be allowed to have 3 candidates on the field. Okay, the lettuce will only be fielding a single candidate. It's all it bloody needs. And then the final team, the rest of the UK. They will simply be skipping their turn as soon as it shows up, because every single worm in this team represents a particular demographic, institution, etc. Because this political simulation machine is so advanced, it doesn't just predict who's going to win the election, it predicts who they're going to horribly screw over while they're doing it. And now I just click on the terrain generator until I find something that catches my fancy. Oh, I tell you what, I like this. Plenty of places to hide, plenty of high ground too. Oh yeah, that'll do very nicely. Let's go. And here we go, the fight begins. Apparently the arena is a lovely paint splotch right here, and yes indeed, we can see here in the light blue, the team representing the UK, dotted about the arena, the students, the economy, the pound, the NHS, so on and so forth. And when I control them, I will simply be passing my turn immediately. I'm not getting involved in this struggle, which is very politically appropriate, given at the time of recording, there is still no guarantee there's going to be a general election. And to ensure we can tell various team members apart, I've adjusted their names accordingly. So for example, Penny Mordaunt is being represented by Penny Dant, Penny Mordaunt, and Penny Mostant, and so on and so forth in that way. So, okay. Let's dive in and see what's going to happen next, because Rishi Sunak, the former Chancellor, First Blood is going to belong to him. Who is he going to go for? He has a think, he has a move, and immediately targeting... Okay, his former boss, Boris Johnson. Rishi Sunak did knife him in the back a bit. One of the key architects of Boris Johnson, yes, being ousted a few months ago. Can understand why there might be some bad blood. Penny Mordaunt starting to warm up. The NHS is down in that lovely safe spot. I mean, I was kind of hoping she might decide to leave the NHS alone. She does for now! Further fire on Boris Johnson. Understandable, yes, various people would not like him to come back. They'd rather be Prime Minister themselves. Over to Suella Braverman, who is just tossing a grenade high up in the air, and... Okay, basically completely bloody useless, but the children were slightly damaged, and... Okay, here comes the big one. Alright, the assassin of Liz Truss. The lettuce is on the move. What is the lettuce going to do? No, lettuce, what are you doing? Okay, I was worried the lettuce might be... The lettuce just shot itself. The lettuce was attempting to hit Rishi Sunak, but definitely just shot itself instead. So, okay, sometimes the lettuce has a good day and assassinates Liz Truss. Sometimes it has a bad day and, yes indeed, something like that happens. You shoot yourself in the foot with a shotgun. Okay, while it's my turn, just check, yes, what the situation is. So, Boris Johnson, not doing well. Right now, Boris Johnson 1, he's in pretty good shape, and I'm pretty sure, yes, Boris Johnson 2 is currently just in that little group over there, begging to be nuked by somebody, I'm sure. Boris Johnson 3, currently in good shape. Suella Braverman and Penny Mordaunt, they've got a couple of good worms buried in this cave. If they can just stay down there, they will be in very good shape. My turn expires and Boris Johnson is available again. Now, he probably won't go for the group next to him, purely because Boris Johnson 2 is in there instead. He's going to go down for Penny Mordaunt. Okay, naturally he wants some revenge. Penny Dant did attack him previously. And back round to Rishi Sunak, who, the former Chancellor could do a lot of damage to the pound if he wanted to. But Boris Johnson 3 is right there too. A mine preventing him from getting to the environment, and no, he's ignoring Boris Johnson 3. I think he might be. He is dynamiting the pound. The former Chancellor has laid explosives next to the pound. The pound is tumbling. The pound has gone. The pound has been completely sunk by the former Chancellor. Dear oh flipping dear. And okay, Penny Mordaunt is the first worm to get a turn down in the cave. If she can deal with Suella C. Braverman, then as a result of that, she will have that entire area to herself, which would be an incredibly powerful advantage. Speaking of which, over to Suella B. Braverman, who is now going to... you could have a really good shot at Penny Mordaunt. No! Wanted to actually shoot the NHS instead, and instead actually has crawled into the hole with Penny Mordaunt and the explosive barrel. Potentially a bad idea. Okay. Back to the lattice, who this time okay, is still dangerously nearby to the economy. Please tell me the lettuce isn't about to take out the economy, because that would be very peculiar if that happened. Like, it would be very strange trying to figure out what the political simulation machine meant by that one. Oh, bloody hell. I think, no! The lettuce just dropped a mine on the politicians, and unfortunately, poor people are going to get caught up in the blast radius. Oh, bloody hell. I think Boris Johnson, too, might be in trouble. But the splash damage might take out the children. There's about to be a big explosion. The children are going to be on fire. Okay, the lettuce has killed the children kind of indirectly there, proving once and for all that the children were justified in not wanting to eat their vegetables. Not much going on in the top left chat. Alright, but I'm guessing, here we go. Boris Johnson 3 has now got a chance to, no, not going for Rishi Sunak. Instead, just put a mine into his own face. Boris Johnson attempted to take out the environment, and in doing so, accidentally blew a mine into his own face, which somehow feels very Boris Johnson-y. And Rishi Sunak. What's he doing now? Oh no. The lettuce! No! I thought he was going for the economy! He probably was, you know. Right, Rishi Sunak has taken out the lettuce. I had high hopes, but the lettuce sadly could not make it. The lettuce is the first to go, though it did some excellent damage. The lettuce might well be the worm of the match, and... okay, Penny Mordaunt actually does a light tap, but there is a mine there. Could that be enough too? Oh, hang on, is anybody actually dead? And Boris Johnson 3... is dead. I think there's only one Boris Johnson 1 left on the field. And the UK doing okay. Okay, Suella C. Braverman, it's now her turn. She needs to find a way to clear out Penny Mordaunt from this cave. If she can, she's going to be in good shape, okay? Does a bit of damage, then retreats deeper in. Neither of them can really kill the other. 56 is a lot of health. Then again, actually, you know what? A stick of dynamite would do the job. Still, for the time being, the UK in good shape. I'm frankly amazed the economy's holding up nicely under the circumstances. That, yes, suggests possibly a slight glitch in the political simulation machine today. Yes, indeed. The big fight to watch, I'd say, Suelle C versus Penny Mordaunt over in the bottom left. And what is going to go on between, yes, Suelle B and Penny Dant in the bottom right. That's the real fight for the ages right now. Those two are in first place, and they have got some real fights ahead of them. The final Boris Johnson 1 desperately needs to get into a safe position and make something happen. And speaking of which, it's his turn right now. So Boris Johnson 1 is... okay, ignores Rishi Sunak, instead just puts a missile right on the pensioners, does a fair bit of damage to Penny Mordaunt, but... oh, bloody hell, it was the pensioners that took the brunt there. Boris Johnson 1 just annihilated the pensioners in a single hit. I think at that point, oh, hang on. That was an attack on... that was Rishi Sunak! Having sunk the pound, he's now going for the entire wider economy. But sadly, or rather, fortunately, I suppose, he's too incompetent to do it. Now... okay, Penny Mordaunt, however, feeling like, yes, she now wants to be more incompetent than her rivals. Takes one shotgun blast to a random bit of rock, but can't do anything else because she's standing next to some explosives. And then over to Suella Braverman, who is now just punching poor people in the face. Stop it, Suella. They've done nothing to you. Did she even hit, yes, Rishi Sunak? I'm not sure she did. Over to the NHS. Rishi Sunak, I'll say, does have some good high ground positions here. He's not doing as bad as he might be. Right, my turn is passed. We should be back to... yes, Boris Johnson 1. And at this point he is, oh yeah, he wants Rishi Sunak into the pit. There are now 2 Rishi Sunaks in the pit. If Penny Mordaunt could just drop a stick of dynamite in there, that would be one a hell of a nice move. And now, yep, just taking a shotgun in the direction of the economy. Both Boris Johnson and Rishi Sunak desperately would like to push the economy into the sea, but neither of them can pull it off. I say that, it's Rishi's turn right now. But I suspect instead he's about to, yes, toss a grenade at the environment and students. And yes, indeed, once again, slightly incompetent. In fact, he almost killed his own worm there. Penny Mordaunt ready to potentially try and find a way to deal with Suelle C. Braverman. Dynamite would do it, but no, doesn't do it. Instead, she would much rather continue firing missiles at the environment, which is just about okay. These two, still stuck in a bloody pit for the time being. There's a grenade. Where's that grenade even going? Oh, that was a lovely grenade! And Boris Johnson is now in the pit too. If Rishi Sunak could do something, just get anything into that pit, they could all go down in the water. That could be a game changer, putting Rishi Sunak from almost last place right up to first. And speaking of which, it's time for Boris Johnson. Will he actually try and get out of the pit? He might be, you know. He might be trying to get out of the pit, and that is a very... Oh, that was an optimistic shot. Right there. They're just stuck in the pit. There's nothing they can do down here. Now, Rishi Sunak has got to find a way out of his pit as well. And once again... Oh! No, he's just decided more people should join him in the pit. Now, this could be Penny Mostant's moment. If she just... Oh, no, she's going to punch Suella Braverman. She's going to go down. There may be a chain reaction about to kick off here. Suella Braverman is definitely about to do some splash damage. Is it going to be enough to kill anybody else? It does not, no. But, yes, Suella Braverman still in a good position. Could be in a good position right now to knock Penny Mordaunt off into the sea. Oh, here comes the first airstrike. Terrible, terrible airstrike. Gross incompetence right there. It was an attempted... No! I say that it might have been genius, actually. Just enough to kill Rishi Sunak, who takes out Penny Mordaunt, who takes out the poor people, who takes out... Actually, they will not take out the other Rishi Sunak. The other Rishi Sunak is alive, but okay. You know what? That was in fact a masterful political assassination right there. Incredible. Okay, back into the pit at this point, and it's more airstrikes. The airstrikes are now very much in play. And Boris Johnson, using a giant plane, just destroyed the environment. And with the environmental collapse, unfortunately comes... No! The students are amazingly still alive. I am amazed that they are actually still in play. Here comes a grenade. That was a very bad grenade! Rishi Sunak, I believe, just blew himself up. Though he may, on his way out, do a huge amount of damage to the NHS. Rishi Sunak is gone, but yes, his final act in government was in fact to damage the NHS quite badly. How on earth are you guys planning to get out of the pit at this point? Okay, they're now just all punching each other in the pit of explosives. The problem is, if you kill anybody in that pit, when they explode, they're going to take out the bloody barrel. So, okay, this is just turning into a ridiculous punching match down in the pit of explosions. Back over to Boris Johnson, who desperately needs to... Oh, that's a... Ho, ho, ho. That was a risky move. That came within a hair's breadth of detonating the explosive barrel that would have taken out everybody. Rishi Sunak at this point, presumably just going to finish off the students. And there they go, though. Does he also have access now to... Yes, Suella Braverman and Penny Mordaunt down in the bottom left, because I'm pretty sure he does. That's not a bad position to do some damage to those two. Speaking of which, Penny Mordaunt just called down an airstrike on the economy. Dear oh flipping dear, completely ignoring Suella C. Braverman. But will Suella C. Braverman ignore her back? Because no, she won't. It's a light tap, but... Actually, that was not a light tap. That was just enough to push Penny Mordaunt below 30. Penny Mordaunt desperately needs to find a response to this. Boris Johnson, ready to go again. If he kills anybody in this... Oh, no! No! Boris Johnson attempts to take out his political rivals. I'm pretty sure he just took out himself. And in doing so, everybody's dead. Everybody goes down. That's it. Boris Johnson is out. Boris Johnson will not be our next Prime Minister. Over to Rishi Sunak, who's now got a pretty good high ground position to potentially... Oh, more airstrikes. Absolutely terrible. That was not a secret genius airstrike. That one was just bad. Penny Mordaunt desperately needs to do something about Suella C. Braverman, because if she doesn't, she is going to die the next turn. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's not enough. So unless Suella C. completely fluffs this, it's coming down to the wire. In fact, at this point, bloody hell, is the UK going to win? The UK could win this. The economy and the NHS might survive. But okay, it's now down to Rishi Sunak and Suel C. Braverman, and Rishi is just starting to, yes, blow a path through. Certainly going top to bottom is easier than going bottom to top in this game, and there's not going to be much that Suella can do. No, she literally passes her turn. Back over to Rishi Sunak, and once again, the great shotgun digging just continues here. They're starting to get very close. At this point, a single handgun shot through the hole might be enough. Honestly, Suel C. Braverman might be able to get him with no, going for yet more bloody rockets that are not going anywhere. And at this point, oh, that could be enough. Was that enough? Did Rishi just do it with a single rocket? He did! Rishi Sunak just managed with a single rocket. It was a slow, boring ending, but the job was done. Meaning now there is no one left on the field aside from Rishi Sunak, the economy, and the NHS. Oh, here he comes. He drops the mine on the economy. Incredibly, he drops it the wrong side, so the mine will not blow the economy into the sea. In fact, he very almost blew himself into the sea right there. Incredible competence, and even then, it's not enough. The economy is resilient. The economy is just about able to take it. The second grenade, though, not so much. The economy finally succumbs to Rishi Sunak's relentless assault. Okay, in shocking scenes, Rishi Sunak was not able to defeat the NHS. He did everything he could to destroy it, but in the end, accidentally blew himself off a cliff and into the ocean, meaning the NHS and the UK just won. Which is completely unprecedented in the history of the Worms Armageddon political simulation machine. This isn't supposed to happen, alright? Somehow, the Conservative Party was so incompetent, they managed to defeat themselves. Which, you know what, given the last few months in the UK, that's very reasonable. Yes, that's actually a perfect result. So, okay, I guess how we have to interpret this result is Rishi Sunak is going to be Britain's next Prime Minister. However, much like Liz Truss, he's not going to last very long. One of his big policies is going to be some form of NHS reform, and it is going to be so wildly unpopular that it leads to his fall. So, okay, that's my prediction. So, Worm of the match goes to Boris Johnson 1 with 4 kills, though the lettuce did the most damage with a single shot. So, okay, the lettuce may not have been with us for long, but bloody hell, it made its presence felt. Okay, the lettuce is a legendary political assassin. Today, it gave us a masterclass. Somehow, Rishi Sunak 2 won both the Entertainment Award and Most Boring Award. Fascinating. The pound was mostly useless. True, it's not doing well at the moment, though should be pointed out, yes, it did briefly go very high before crashing into the ground. So, okay, my political simulation machine also predicts significant volatility in the currency markets in the near future. And there we go. There is the Worms Armageddon political simulation machine predicting today Rishi Sunak will be our next Prime Minister, but he is not going to last very long. After significant currency volatility and deeply unpopular NHS reforms, he will be ousted in a matter of months. Alright, watch this space. This may be back sooner rather than later, because I suspect we can only go so bloody long before we get to the next election proper. Hopefully, you are looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd. And this has been Worms Armageddon with the Political Simulation Machine. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Claire, show off what the butter packaging does. That's amazing!
25, 50, 100, and then 110
If you need to hide the butter, you just fold the packaging onto the butter and it... that's amazing! That's such a good idea!
See,
How long has butter been doing this?
forever.